A couple weeks back, I made a video looking at former Islanders prospects to see where they are and how they're doing. And a few of you said, well, what about these guys? Can you tell us what's going on with these guys? And so here's the answer. As always, hit that subscribe button. Do not miss a video. Also, go to Twitter, follow at TLOMitch. That's me. Don't miss any breaking information about Islanders prospects I've yet to cover on the channel. So there's actually only 2 players brought up by you guys in the comments. And so at the end of this video, in the comment section, if there's someone else you want me to look at that used to be an Islander prospect, let me know. The first former prospect that was brought up was goalie Eamon McAdams. So this was a 3rd round pick by the Islanders in 2013. And when you look at the numbers here, let me just get my stream deck here to show you. When you look at the numbers for Eamon McAdams', career, let me just bring it up and, blow it up so we can look at it a little bit better. So he's drafted in 2013 out of the USHL, has some decent, NCAA numbers, so college hockey, 298 goals against average and a 913 save percentage in his final year. And then when he goes pro, he's got some decent numbers at the various levels of AHL and ECHL. But there wasn't anything more than that with Eamon McAdams. So there wasn't anything that we saw from the Islanders' perspective that this guy's going to be an NHL caliber goalie. He was depth AHL at most. And so when Lou Lamoriello came in, he traded Eamon McAdams to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Matt Martin, which was an upgrade. I know the Leafs fans are going to say, like, well, great, we got rid of Matt Martin. But for the Islanders fans, they're like, great, we got Matt Martin. And well, from there, for Eamon McAdams, when you look everywhere he went was ECHL, AHL, and still at the ECHL level. He bounced around in Denmark and is currently playing in England for the Guildford Flames, where he's doing pretty well. His stats right now, his averages show he's the 7th in the league for save percentage. So if I go down when I say 7th, I mean goalies who've played more than 10 games. So forget those first 2 guys. And you can see that Eamon McAdams is right there with a 9.97 or a 90.97, so a 910 save percentage. And his goals against average, 292, which is 8th for goalies at that level. So Eamon McAdams is still playing right now and doing pretty well in Britain, but, whatever. He's still playing. He's a pro hockey player, and he's living in Britain. That sounds like a dream to me. So that's what's going on with him. The second player brought up was Felix Bibeau, a player drafted in the 6th round in 2019. And you're saying, like, that wasn't very long ago. And you're right? Like, look at the prospects we picked that year. Holmstrom, Budzik, Newkirk, Bibeau, Koski. Koski's already gone. Felix Bibeau is gone, obviously. That's why we're talking about him. Reese Newkirk is still around at the ECHL and AHL level. Samuel Budzik is borderline NHL. And Simon Holmstrom is playing full-time, I'm going to say, at the NHL level right now. And so you're saying, well, why is Bibeau just gone? And when I mean gone, I mean, like, he's not playing anymore. He isn't. He's a coach now. And so when you look at his numbers, and I'm going to bring it up here, he had good QMJHL numbers. So for Rouyn-Noranda, 69 points in 63 games in 18-19. That's his draft year. And then he goes to Quebec and Chicoutimi, where he puts up 35 and 31 and 35 and 32. Not William Dufour level numbers, but still pretty darn good numbers. And so the Islanders felt like they should see what he's got when it comes to being the pros. And there wasn't really a whole lot there. When you look at the numbers there, right, like in 12 games, he's got 4 points, 10 and 15 at the ECHL level, and then 7 and 29 in his final year with Bridgeport. And that was just it. And like, Felix Bibeau admits to that. Right? He says here it's not a life that's easy being a pro in the minor leagues like the ECHL and the AHL. I stayed there for more than 150 days at the hotel last year is what he says in an article to CBC. Carried from hotel to hotel, from city to city, I started to think, am I still ready to make all these sacrifices? And the answer was no. He was honest with himself, and the answer was no. And so he called up his former coach for the Chicoutimi segment and said, like, look, you made me an offer saying if I ever wanted to come back and be a coach that you'd take me. Are you still willing to take me? And the coach was like, yup, let's go. You got to stay in school, though. Like, you got to go full-time to university, but, like, you can still be a coach here and, like, kind of earn your stripes. And that's what Felix Bibeau is doing now. His goal was to be a player at the NHL level, and that sadly will never happen. But his goal now is to become an NHL coach, right? That's exactly what he said in that CBC article that I've linked in the comments. He wants to be at the NHL level as a head coach now. And he's taking his first steps as an assistant coach with Chicoutimi. So good job to Felix Bibeau for being honest with himself. A lot of us could do that as well. I know it took me a while to be honest with myself. And I was working 15 years at the government going like, am I really enjoying this? Is this something I like to do? And it was no. Just like Felix Bibeau, he didn't want to go hotel to hotel and bust his butt off for marginal returns at maybe a hint at getting at the NHL level. And he knew that was never going to happen. So he changed his goals, and big step in that direction for him. If there are any former Islander prospects you want me to look at, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have already, thank you, thank you, thank you.